Alright, so this Valentine's Day will be the second one in a row where I raise some awareness about being happily solosexual. Now, one of my subscribers pointed out that actually February 15th is Singles Awareness Day. Now, I dislike that for two reasons. First of all, it puts singles or people who are happily single into a completely different category by putting it into a separate day. And second, when I Googled the idea of Singles Awareness Day, it was all about meeting new people. And I want to dedicate a video talking about how toxic our culture has become, because that's not the only thing that I noticed in recent days. So I work at a tutoring center, and one thing that always drives me nuts is that at the tutoring center we like to reward the kids with candy and all sorts of junk food, and I always try to dissuade the kids away from it. Sometimes kids would even offer to give me some of the candy that they earned as a reward, and then I get to tell them about how I haven't eaten any sugar for longer than they have been alive. And I always make sure to proudly talk about that. Now, one of the kids, her mom got very concerned for her, actually, because after I told her that, it really inspired her to start eating healthier. She still eats plenty of candy, but it's inspired her to think about it and to go home and talk to her family about it. And her mom came in early one day to have a talk with me about how I was talking to her daughter about not consuming sugar. I didn't tell her not to consume sugar. I told her about how I had not consumed any sugar for 17 years, right? But her mother was very concerned for her. Now, in what kind of world does an adult get concerned about their kids hearing about healthy habits, right? If you hear about your kids learning about washing their hands, social distancing, in what world is that cause for concern, right? So I often dissuade the kids away from that. Now, this other kid was another special case. She wanted to take this one pharmaceutical drug. They recently just approved it for kids under 11. Her parents are concerned about it, and she's asking me about how I can get her to persuade her parents to let her take this substance. Don't want to say what it is on here, because I get into, it's not just that one substance that kids can disagree with their parents on, right? And I'm trying to every time she brings that up, I'm trying to move the conversation away from that subject. She likes how I have healthy habits, and she doesn't know my position on this one pharmaceutical drug. I actually am on her parents' side, and so it just creates a lot of rift, right? I always try to bring the subject away from that every time it broaches that area. Now, getting back to the Single Lives Matters issue, on the news today, Andrew Cuomo is once again making headlines with his sexual harassment saga of last year. Now, I think part of I wouldn't say he's completely blameless for all of this, but I think part of the reason sexual harassment is so pervasive here in the United States is that we're constantly being bombarded with the idea that we need somebody. And sometimes in the desperation and the rush to fit in, we make mistakes there, right? I won't hold him blameless or hold some of the victims blameless. I mean, certainly everybody was a participant in all this, but I think the biggest participant was our social culture of needing to do all to even get involved in all that, right? Not to say that there can't be healthy relationships, but it shouldn't be a mandatory thing, right? And then everybody seems to recharge differently, right? So I have a hard time at my workplace ever getting to take time off because people have a disagreement with how I recharge, right? I love writing computer games, I love stargazing, and people just think that I'm wasting my life away, and so they don't feel guilty about not giving me a vacation day. And so this Valentine's Day and Single Appreciation Day, February 15th. It's not about us versus them. It's about cleaning up some of this severe corrosive toxicity of our society, right? That we judge people the way they live, right? Clean up a little bit, right?